this is where the best people compete. It feels good.
All my hard work, everything I've done, perfect game tournaments I played in, everything. It started to mean that all my work has come to fruition.
On behalf of these talented athletes around North America, my name is Daron Sutton. We're about to get to know the 2020 Perfect Game All-American Classic roster. This is our reveal show. I'd like to bring in my broadcast partner for the live broadcast on perfectgame.tv and also year after year, my analyst as we break down this game and these talented athletes. It's Vice President of Player Personnel, David Rawnsley. David, this is a fun time of year in which it's been a very unique year. We see athletes sometimes a little bit of courage getting out away from home, coming to events and playing the game they love. That's, of course, baseball, which makes this roster more than ever a little bit more unique. This is exciting to share these players with everyone who's following.
Well, no doubt, Daron. This has been a unique year. Hopefully one we'll not see again. A lot of these kids didn't get to play in high school this spring. Maybe some of the Californians and Floridians picked up a few games. So we've had to do a lot more, just not the Perfect Game National, but as we put on events in Alabama, in Florida, in Texas, we've been able to track these players. Some of these players played upwards of 50 games already this summer. So we've got a chance to look at most of them, but we did have to delve back into the history books a bit on some of these players. We know they're among the top 50 players in the country. So we've had to use different techniques in selecting this team, but I think we got the right players. Every time I've looked down it, it's like we got the right players here. I think the audience is going to be really intrigued by these guys. There's a lot of talent in baseball right now.
This year, the Perfect Game All-American Classic will be played in Oklahoma City with all the changes in scheduling in Major League Baseball. So many years partnered up with Petco Park and the San Diego Padres, and quite frankly, probably back in the future. But this year, Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark, the AAA home of the Los Angeles Dodgers. When you think of this event, 228 first-round picks in its history, 9 number ones overall, 188 MLB players. So, David, when we look back at all the players from the Lindors across the board who have been PG All-Americans, I want to ask you, as I do each and every year, what's your theme for this year? It doesn't have to be just one, but thematically, what are you seeing with the class of 2021?
Well, Daron, I think this is a very diverse class, and I mean that in every way. It's just not a Florida, Georgia, Texas, California group of players. It's really, really from all around the country. There's some amazing sports backgrounds. I mean, this group's got like 3 D1 quality basketball players in it. There's some great students. This might be the best collection of plus 32 ACT players I've ever seen in one place. We've got the power pitchers. We've got the projectable pitchers. We've got speedy players. We've got powerful speed players. We've got some fast players who are really powerful. It's a great group and very diverse in so many ways.
One part of this event, David, that will continue on and we're all excited about is reaching out and giving back to the community. For more than a decade, it's been Rady Children's Hospital in the fight against pediatric cancer. This year, it's Toby Keith's OK Corral, helping families of children who are battling serious illness and, of course, a big give back for these players to fundraise. And when you talk with athletes about their experience, those that have gone on to the major leagues, that have used this platform of the All-American Classic, they remember things like visiting Rady Children's Hospital. They remember giving back. They remember the thrill of being with future big leaguers. As a matter of fact, they vividly remember it.
I remember I was getting a polo and getting dressed to go to the Children's Hospital to hang out with the kids. We went to a little backyard. They had a playground. And we played with them for a little bit, talked to them. We read a couple things, and it was just cool seeing their smiles.
That event was really big, and it gave me a really big platform that I still use today. And I think it's giving people right now, kids my age, how old I was, just a platform, and it's giving baseball kind of different look to a lot of different people.
I just remember it's kind of like the finishing pieces of the puzzle right there. You want to leave that last impression and do what you can to really put in a good word for your name and see where the process can take you.
It was an awesome experience. I'll never forget that with Freddie Freeman. he was the first baseman on the team, and I actually played first base in high school some, and we were both first basemen. He was on the west, of course, I was on the east, and we'll never forget those memories, playing against each other, throwing some dirt on each other at first base, and then getting to play with each other in Atlanta for 5 years also.
It was just special to look back and be like, wow, there were 200 guys at this showcase, and we were the guys that made it out of everybody else, and we were the best in the country. So that was a great feeling to have that, and just people that think highly of us, think that we're this great of an athlete, this special of a prospect, to be able to make an impact in the MLB in the future, I think was really cool. And obviously the gear is awesome, being able to get all the fancy stuff before everybody else. But I love that.
All right, so those are cool memories, but let's get to the modern team. David Rawnsley, the introduction to the E squad, and let's start with pitchers from the left side. He's out of Thurmont, Maryland. This is a young man by the name of Mason Albright. Let's start these All-Americans. Start with Mason.
All right, Mason Albright is a 6-foot lefty from Maryland. He has improved as much as any player in the country in the last year, any pitcher, I should say. He has a nasty extended 3/4 arm slot, has been up to 94 with his fastball. That big breaking frisbee slider, he's going to be really, really tough on left-handed hitters at every level down the road.
Maddox Bruns, left-hander, up to 97 at National. This young man, a Mississippi State commit out of Saraland, Alabama.
Another player who's really improved in the last year. When I last saw Maddox, he was throwing 87, 89, touching 90. He was up to 97 at the National. He was up to 96 in Georgia this week. So the fastball's there. Really good feel for his curveball. I compare him to the Orioles' first-round pick a few years ago, D.L. Hall, who was an All-American, and that his key will be throwing more strikes with his fastball because the stuff is potentially dominant.
Jersey dominating in this group. The first of 3 from the great state. His name is Pierce Coppola. He's 6 feet 8 inches tall. This is a Virginia commit.
Well, you said it all, Daron. He's 6'8", 215, and he's coordinated. There's some rhythm to his delivery. It's in sync. They're still throwing the throwing strikes issues occasionally, but the stuff has a chance to be overwhelming. It's up to 93. Hitters don't see it. There's great extension out front, so that velocity is going to play up. Big sweeping curveball, but he's not just touching his potential. If he's throwing mid-90s with that extension and that deception, oh my gosh, he's going to be hard to hit.
A strong Team USA background, a couple of gold medals. Josh Hartle is the son of Suzanne and Larry. South Charlotte Panthers, a Wake Forest commit, another lefty.
Yeah, 6'5", about 200 pounds, a plus athlete. This is what I mentioned. You have hard throwers and soft throwers. Everybody thinks Josh Hartle will throw hard. He's 89, 91 now, but the operation is so smooth and so easy. There's 4 solid pitches there, all of them for strikes. It's just a matter of time before Josh is showing that solid average plus fastball, and the rest of the ingredients are already there.
So Carter Holton, fresh off of winning an award, the most valuable pitcher at the Ultimate Baseball Championship. Carter Holton, Guyton, Georgia, Vanderbilt commit.
Our 5th lefty already on the E squad, so you know a theme right there. But Carter Holton, you know what I'm going to say. He's 15-1 with a 0.8 ERA, 177 strikeouts in 100 innings in PG tournaments, 39 strikeouts in 19 innings this year. He is a dominant performer. He's up to 94, 95 with the fastball, and it's deceptive, and he's such a competitor, and he's a winner on the mound. He might be the top performer in this class.
I'll tell you about Drew Christo, the student. You tell me about the baseball player. A 4.33 with a 35 ACT. He's a Nebraska commit.
This is a whole athletic story. Drew's father played football for University of Nebraska, which of course in Nebraska is the ultimate that you can do. And Drew's a true 3-sport athlete, and imagine that as that elite level student and being an elite 3-sport athlete. He's up to 94, 95 on the mound. Really nice slider, very coordinated for a 6'4", 225 player as you'd expect. But plus athlete, plus student, great feature for Drew Christo.
Shane Banzini's mom swam at Brown. She also took all the electronics and the games out of their house and said, go play ball outside. Thank you, Colleen. You've got a good pitcher because of that.
Oh, no doubt. Shane Panzini would be that classic 3rd starter down the road if he projects as I think he is. He's up to 95 with a lot of sink on the fastball. His changeup might be his best pitch right now, slider. So that sinker, slider, changeup, true 3-pitch arsenal, throws strikes, sort of a Lance Lynn type of pitcher down the road.
There is talk about triple digits with Chase Petty. I wasn't there, but there was a 100 that was registered. This is the son of Bonnie and Bob, Big Chase Petty out of New Jersey.
Well, Chase Petty, that's the first 100 ever, Daron, at a perfect game event, as you know. We thought another young man might do it this year, but Petty was definitely on the radar. And it's just not the high velocity. He's got a very good slider. I looked up all his numbers from perfect game events, and there's very few walks in there. I think this year he's walked 9 in 32 innings. So there's command, there's athleticism. He's 6'1", 175, so it's not a big package. There's some effort. But to throw 100 miles an hour, you have to have some effort involved. But Chase Petty has a special arm.
Irv Carter's got a special arm as well. The young man who is a Miami commit is out of Boynton Beach, Florida. Way back in 2017, this is an athlete that was part of Perfect Game Select Festival, the 14U Select Festival. He's at Calvary Christian Academy. We have seen him at the Breakthrough Series with Dream Series, and this is a young man that over the last 4 years has added 13 miles an hour to his velocity on his fastball. He's been to 28 PG events, most recently up to 94 miles an hour, striking out 5 2 2/3 innings at Perfect Game 17U WWBA. The number one player currently, as ranked by Perfect Game, is Andy Painter. We've been watching him for a long time. Back in Fort Myers in 2016, he threw 72, and he was 5'9". He's all grown up now at 6'7".
Yeah, I've been watching Andy since he was a freshman at Calvary Christian, and just to watch him improve this much. And it's the whole package right now. He's not going to be that 100-mile-an-hour guy. He'll sit at 93, 95, but it's 4 true solid to plus pitches. He's 6'7", but the delivery is so smooth and low effort. I know there's never going to be a first pick in the big league draft the way things are with teams in the draft now, but Andy Painter is a young man. You can imagine being a first pick in the draft with his ceiling on the mound.
Great insights from David. Let's bring Andy Painter in and have him join us to talk about who he is as a pitcher. Andy, congratulations, first of all, on being named the Perfect Game All-American. Look, I talked about when we bumped into you a long, long time ago at a ballpark in Fort Myers. You were like 5'9", 160. You're throwing 72 miles an hour. You're all grown up. What do you remember about your early days of playing travel ball, those first days when you got out there and took the mound?
I mean, back, early travel ball, I wasn't really strictly a pitcher. I still hit and stuff. Pitching, I didn't really pitch that much. Pitching was never really it didn't become my thing until probably like 15U is kind of when we realized like, all right, we're going to make this transition. So, I mean, if I were to go back now and look, and see where I was, I wouldn't think, I'd be a pitcher. And obviously I don't, looking up, always watching this game, I wouldn't expect me to be pitching in this game in the future.
Yeah, Andy, even taking it a step forward, I first saw you pitch when you were a freshman for Calvary Christian. And I remember your coach then, Alan Kunkel, just telling me, hey, this guy's got a high ceiling. Talk about Coach Kunkel, who's at South Florida now, a bit, and how he was involved in your development as a pitcher.
I mean, he was just always there for me. He kind of started the recruitment process too. He was just and just as a person, it was the relationship there was very strong, person to person, and he was the guy I could trust and rely on with anything. And, just seeing him, like he called me when he got the job at USF, he called me and it was just a normal conversation. I was just at Publix, like, getting some food or something. And, he broke the news to me and it was, I hated to see it happen, but I was super proud of him, in the long run, just, it was a big step, but, I miss him a lot, really, really miss him. Him being there and just working every day on certain stuff, just nitpicking different stuff to, become who I am today.
Okay, you've got a game tonight, set up 7:15 tonight. You're in Georgia at the 17U. As you go to the mound tonight, tell me what you're thinking. I know you're a 4-pitch guy who throws strikes. What does Andy Painter go to the mound tonight thinking about when he takes the rubber?
I mean, obviously, so today, it's not a showcase setting, so I mean, usually, like for instance, national and those little 2-inning, 1-inning showcases, got to show everything you have. Definitely going to go a little more fastball heavy to start, first time through the lineup. I'll go more secondary breaking pitches, stuff like that. Second time around the lineup. So, don't show everything right away, right off the bat. Kind of hold it in.
Interesting stuff. I've got to know what you did while everyone was locked down, right? None of us could get out and do what we wanted to. So give me just a quick sampling of some workouts you did during quarantine.
I mean, right when I work out at Cressy Sports Performance up in Jupiter, Florida. I've been there. I was there the whole time. Once they shut down, though, it was kind of, I mean, I had a written program. I just do it in a little, some kid's garage. Obviously, no one had really what they wanted, but so you had to, make it work. But I would just do those same workouts that I had written down. I just, find a way to get that stuff done, throw every day. There was a park by me that was open, so I could get my throwing in and stuff. Obviously, going into the season, pitchers had an advantage because those hitters couldn't see anything, but I could get my work in.
Painter, congratulations, pal, on being a perfect game All-American.
Thank you, guys.
Andy Painter, number 1 currently ranked in the land by perfect game. When we come back, the Outfielders. All right, let's continue getting to know these rosters and these talented players. David, let's go with the Outfielders. Jay Allen is where we start. This is a gifted player who's a dual-threat quarterback who's committed to Florida, who could probably play in multiple sports beyond football and baseball.
Yeah, well, Jay Allen, Daron, is one of my favorite athletes in this class, and we'll be hearing a lot about athletes over the rest of the show because there are so many quality athletes. But Jay Allen is a true three-sport athlete. He could be a D1 player in basketball, football, and, of course, in baseball. And what impresses me the most about him as a baseball player, aside from the athleticism, is he can hit fastballs. Sometimes if you haven't got the repetition that a three-sport athlete have had, you won't time pitches as well. But you can't throw a fastball past Jay Allen. There's a lot of bat speed there and a lot of power potential.
Joshua Baez is 6'3", 220, yet he runs a 6'6", 60, has a big arm on the mound in the high 90s, same arm in the outfield. He's out of Boston.
Well, Joshua Baez, he plays for Beast Mode during the summer, and that's a perfect team for Baez to play for because he's a tool beast. He just turned 17 years old. We really haven't seen him as much as some of these other players. But when you go through the numbers you just said, he's up to 97 on the mound and from the outfield. He has big right-handed power. He runs at 6'6". I'd like to see him play some third base myself, but just such a talented athlete and yet so young, still projectable even at that size.
Switch hitter Thad Ector, Tyrone, Georgia, South Carolina commit. This young man can fly. This young man can hit.
Yeah, Thaddeus Ector, we have a number of switch hitters on this team, as we'll find out. I think he's the best true switch hitter. It's pretty equal from both sides of the plate. But you mentioned the speed. He's a 6'5" runner. Even though he's 6'1", 185, and he looks bigger in uniform to me, he's already stolen 30 bases this summer in our tournaments. And he really uses that speed well out of the box, on the bases, projects as a center fielder down the road in the outfield.
Benny Montgomery is near perfect in the classroom with the 4.0. He's nearly perfect, David, on the baseball field. This young man out of Pennsylvania earns the number 4 ranking in the country.
Oh, no doubt. This is the speed and power combination that you rarely see as a scout. I mean, a 6'3" runner in the 60, and he flies out of the box. We saw some running 4.1s at the National. And then the bat speed. He's easily into the low 100s on his exit velocities, and when he ties into one, it goes a long way. So you've got the elite speed, you've got the elite power. When he gets more repetitions and can square the ball up consistently, this is as high-end a ceiling player as there is in the 2021 class.
Braden Montgomery is a Stanford commit. He's also an alum of the MLB Breakthrough Series event. His mom, Gretchen, is an emergency room doctor. We think a lot of her and thank her for her work during this time, but Braden is some kind of special.
Yeah, he is. He's another switch hitter, 6'2", about 200 pounds. And really his big tool right now is his arm. He has one of the most beautiful flowing outfield arms I've ever seen. He's 93 with lots of strikes from the mound. So the arm is a fluid, elite level tool, but he's a switch hitter. He's strong enough to have power. And I think he's going to be one of these players that's going to be fun to watch develop. I would expect him to go to Stanford with the kind of student he is, but see him develop there with more and more game at bats.
James Wood is big and strong, and he's out of Maryland. And as a high school basketball player, he was elite. As a baseball player, he's continuing to develop daily.
Yeah, 6'6", 230 pounds, a left-handed hitter. And he is better today than he was a month ago at the PG National, I think. He had a game in Hoover the other day where he had a grand slam and 7 RBIs. You know, when you're 6'6", 230, getting the barrel out consistently against high-quality pitching is tough, but he's making those adjustments, and you can just see him week by week, game by game, getting into his power more, and it's top of the scale, raw power from the left side.
As we move to the infield, let's get to know a very talented infielder representing Puerto Rico in a very proud manner.
Mi nombre es Edwin Arroyo, soy de Puerto Rico, soy switch hitter, no solo a representar a Puerto Rico, sino a dar lo mejor de mí y a enseñarle a Perfect Game mis habilidades. My name is Edwin Arroyo, Edwin Arroyo. I'm from Puerto Rico. I came here not only to represent Puerto Rico, but to show Perfect Game my ability. You have to be confident. You step in the box, don't guess the pitches. Just be ready for whatever pitch is coming and wait the ball here. Your style, however you feel comfortable, but hit the ball in the front. When the pitch is going to the hitter, I just get ready like right, left, and just wait until the batter hit. You always have to think the ball is coming here, ready to ball. If the ball is slow, just go direct to the ball and make the routine play. If the ball is hard, you can make like a little circle and just throw it, routine play. If the backhand play is far, you can take it with this foot. Take the ball and just one step. When I was younger, my right hand hurts. I don't stop practice baseball. So I just start throwing lefty, and when my right hand was ready, both were ready. I love Francisco Lindor. He's switch hitter too. His hands, I like him. His arm, pretty strong arm, and he's just confident. Most of Puerto Ricans, big leaguers, are good. You know, that makes me proud. You know, I love being Puerto Rican. My dad means a lot to me because he always wants the best for me and he's always caring about me. His name is Edwin Arroyo, my name. He played all his life and then he decided to focus on me and we just practice all day, every day. We love baseball. We love it.
All right, so let's scout him up as a player. He scouted for us. That was a great feature, by the way, at the main event showcase. David, who is Arroyo as a baseball player?
Well, he's the third switch hitter on the East team and a very accomplished switch hitter. It's very even tools from both sides. But what has impressed me most about Arroyo over the last 2 years is how much his raw tools have improved. He's a 6'3" runner now. His arm strength has really improved from shortstop. And to me, he's one of the two most pure shortstops in this All-American game. And it's a position he's going to stay at. And as you see the raw tools improve, those skills are really going to shine through as well.
Michael Braswell, South Carolina commit. This is a young man who has really huge talent. East Cobb Astros, his travel team.
Huge talent and also huge experience. He plays more baseball, I think, than anybody we have in our system. I mean, he's got over a big league number of games the last 3 summers playing for the East Cobb Astros, a big league full season work. It's a two-way talent. He's a shortstop. He's a high contact, high performance hitter, but also he's a pitcher. He's up to the low 90s. He's walked 10 hitters in almost 90 innings in his PG career. So it's a multi-talented young player who's just going to keep getting better and better as he gets stronger.
Staying in the SEC, a Vanderbilt commit is Rob Gordon. He's got David experience with the MLB Breakthrough Series group. He idolizes Mookie Betts.
Mookie Betts, good person to idolize. Rob Gordon is a real true shortstop. He's so light on his feet defensively. He's one of these young men that his feet just don't touch the ground for very long. It's a great skill and tool to have at shortstop. He's a true shortstop. We're waiting for Rob to get bigger. He's got fast hands. About 6'1", 175. I've heard him compared to a Ed Howard before Ed Howard got stronger, referring to the first-round draft choice and former PG All-American from last year.
Luke Leto, a 14U Select Festival athlete. He's a Michigander. He's an LSU commit. This is a beautiful left-handed hitter, too.
Luke Leto was one of the early guys in this class. We've talked about guys who mature early versus late. Luke Leto was throwing 90 off the mound when he was 14. So we've always known about him. As he's gotten bigger and matured, as you mentioned, it's become a left-handed bat that is his best tool. I think he ends up at third base in the future, but the big tool is the left-handed bat and the power potential.
Rochester, New York, a Virginia commit, Casey Sake. This is a young man in Casey who was still 16 when he went to PG National, David.
Yeah, and he was one of the big surprises at PG National. He's from New York. We hadn't been exposed to him as much, and he aced the National. I mean, he was up to 93 on the mound. He was one of the best game hitters. He really showed his bat speed well, both in batting practice and in the games. He was smooth at shortstop at 6'3", 190. Maybe he still fills out, ends up at third, but he really showed his athleticism and skills very well in Alabama that week.
Brady House, many argue, is the most talented position player there is in the country. Any age, any class. And this young man is out of Winder, Georgia, Winder Barrow High School. Twice he's been a Select Festival athlete.
Brady is certainly one of the best hitters in the class. I mean, he's an incredible hitter with power, with barrel skills, with bat speed. But he's more than just a hitter. At 6'3", 210, he might be able to play shortstop. He's that kind of athlete. He's 96 off the mound. Sometimes when you watched him play in younger age groups, it was watching the man amongst boys type of thing. But that talent has kept developing over the years, and he's very deserving of his number 3 spot in the ranking.
I think probably the saddest thing for Brady House was losing a part of what was his junior season and a chance to play with his brother. But before everything shut down, we got to know he and his brother Brooks. It's a true family affair, and that was at the Perfect Game High School Showdown.
I'm Brady House, and this is my brother Brooks House, and we're here from Winder Barrow High School.
Brother is just really good brother, so anything like helps me with baseball, anything I need is good. Both on the left side, so like I know if nothing's coming my way, he's got it.
It's fun. This is the first time we've ever played together, basically. We used to play travel balls sometimes, but basically this is the first year we've actually like practiced and played games and stuff, so it's a lot of fun, especially since we're both on the same side, because we do talk to each other about every single inning on the left side. So.
I mean, we do fight, but most of the time we get along, so.
Give me the last good disagreement you had. What was it over?
I don't know, probably wearing clothes. We both, like, I'll wear his clothes and he don't really like it. So.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we wear the same size, so like, why not share, you know? If I need a pair, I usually just go up in his room and get it, so it's pretty nice.
I mean, I just treat it, I'm a normal ball player too. I'm like everybody else. I strike out, I get base hits, I do everything that every single other player plays. I'm grateful that I even get to play the game. If I go out there and I play good, if I play bad, I'm still gonna have the same attitude because, I mean, you're gonna have those failures and you're gonna have those successes. I don't wanna be like a roller coaster that goes up and down, and I'm full of emotions every time I do bad, so I just treat it like a regular game, and I'm out here playing the game I love, so it's just basically it. Playing baseball and him playing baseball too, and for us to come now and play together is just a lot of fun.
We continue getting to know PG All-Americans, and let's move to another big bat, David Rawnsley, a young man who plays at third on the corner of the infield. His name is Tommy White, the Florida Burns Tommy White, an NC State commit. First, let's start with his scouting report.
Well, the scouting report for Tommy White's pretty simple. He's one of the top 2 or 3 bats in the country for me. A right-handed hitter, very strong, 6'1", 6'2", 220 pounds, physically mature. But it isn't the strength as much as just the sheer hitting ability. I mean, Tommy squares up the ball just about every time. He's a joy to watch hit, and it's so consistent. It's so high performance over the years that I think we had to break down now finally and say, Tommy White's one of the best hitters in the country, and we have to rank him accordingly, and he's number 9 in our rankings right now, and he deserves it.
And joining us now, we celebrate him as an All-American, is Tommy White. So, Tommy, you heard the breakdown and who you are as a hitter. That's heady stuff. Congrats. And how much does it mean to you to join this group of 21 grads as a PG All-American and bring in the history of the game? There's a bunch of major leaguers that have come through here. How much does it mean to you, Tommy?
It means everything. It's been one of my dreams since I started playing perfect game. It's everybody's dream, so I'm glad I got the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, Tommy, I don't know whether you even heard of this player. The player I've used a number of times as a comp for you from 1978, Bob Horner, the Rookie of the Year then. Big, strong third baseman with just an outstanding bat. He won the Rookie of the Year straight out of Arizona State. And when I look at Tommy White, circa 2020, I see Bob Horner back then when I was your age watching Bob Horner. Have you ever even heard of Bob Horner? Let me ask you that first.
When after the perfect game All-American Showcase, I heard it was I was like him, so I looked him up, and I'm very similar, I think.
Okay, so it's a good comp. That's important to hear. Daron mentioned it before that you played for the Florida Burn. You've always played for the Florida Burn, the great travel club out of the west coast of Florida. 2-time Jupiter champions. Tell us a little bit about your experience as a 2-time Jupiter champion.
The first time was insane. I never thought we'd come close, and then to have back-to-back is just unbelievable. It means everything. Like, we played hard, and we deserve the wins that we got, and hopefully we make it 3 in a row.
Anything you want to say to Coach Guthrie or Coach Faulkner right now?
Thank you guys for putting me in the games in the top, and let me play up and stuff, because it really put my name out there.
Yeah, interesting stuff. When you're playing up as a sophomore in Jupiter, it's not supposed to happen. Hey, 1 or 2 keys in your approach and your swing. Just give me 1 or 2. When you're known as one of the best hitters in the country, young hitters want to know how you do what you do. What are 1 or 2 keys to success as a hitter for you?
Think right field, and if you catch it out in front, it's a good thing.
Nice. You kept it simple. Hey, Tommy, congrats on being a PG All-American. We can't wait to watch you hit on the biggest stage.
Thank you.
On the other side of the infield is Jack Caglione, this young man out of Tampa, Florida. 10 times, David. He's been an all-tournament team member at PT events. Jack is a Florida commit.
Well, and he looks like a first baseman, 6'5", 210 pounds, and he really looks like one of the best two-way prospects in the country. He has an outstanding left-handed bat. It shows barrel skills, bat speed, lots of power potential with the leverage in that frame. But Caglione's also been up to 94, 95 on the mound from a extended 3/4. It would just be nasty to be a left-handed hitter against. So he's a young man. Florida is known for developing two-way players. If he gets there, they really could end up both ways, one way or the other, in another 3 or 4 years.
Catchers. Harry Ford, the son of Deborah and Alan, a 4.2 in the classroom, who during the pandemic put on 15 pounds of muscle.
Well, this is one of the most athletic catchers we're going to see, Daron. I can't remember this athletic a catcher really for a while. He's a 6'5" runner in the 60, and that 15 pounds of muscle has been so impactful this summer. Not only his speed, but his power. He has hit 4 or 5 home runs already this summer at big PG tournaments. We're seeing the power on almost a daily basis. So we've got a 6'5" runner, very good arm behind the plate. You know, with that power, it's looking like a whole package right there for Harry Ford.
Highland Gardens, Florida, Rene Lastres, a young man who's a Florida Gator commit. He's been to nearly 40 PG events behind the plate.
Rene Lastres, in my opinion, is the top defensive catcher in this class. He has the ability to dominate a game defensively, and by that, just not with his arm strength, which is elite level, but he has such a maturity receiving the ball. He's played a ton of baseball. He has no problem with the mid-90s guys and sticking pitches. He blocks very well. He really stands out on defense as one of the top defensive players across the spectrum in this class.
Jaden Melendez is from a baseball family, but I'm going to focus on Jaden. This is a young man who was a Select Festival member back in 2017. He continues to develop as a catcher.
Jaden's been on the big stage for a long time. It's been fun to watch him develop. And it's obvious he's played a lot of baseball. He's so mature defensively. We mentioned earlier Chase Petty throwing 100 and was 94, 97. Well, Jaden Melendez was catching him and looking like a big leaguer doing it. And that's something that you don't see often at this level. Got quick hands at the plate. He's going to be a high contact hitter, but he really knows the game and is so polished on defense.
David, when we looked back to this year's National, it was unique because so many athletes, it was the first time they had gotten out at all. Safety was certainly a big part of the choice to travel. What were some of the moods that you took away from the athletes at the National and even some of the families who took the time and the sacrifice to get their young players there?
Well, I think that the sacrifice of the families, is something that stands out. The players just want to play baseball. I mean, they've been working so hard. They've been working in the garages and the barns and the basements and stuff and waiting to get out on the field. And you just unleash them. You could tell their enthusiasm. But I want to tip my hats to the parents and the families who not only had to deal with having their boys in the house for 2-3 months straight, but then took the precautions to get them to the National. And so many of them are being rewarded now being All-Americans.
So behind the scenes, there were about 20 or 30 in addition to this roster, let's say 70 or 80, as we were told, that were finalists to be All-Americans. They were brought into a locker room at the Hoover Met. It was clearly dressed up. They had their cards, pictures taken, and they did all that they needed to do, got fitted for uniforms, and it was called Welcome to the Room, the opportunity to be brought into the room, to be told that you have a high possibility of being PG All-American. This was the message that was shared with them.
This is the future I want, hopefully to play pro ball.
My goal is to become a Major League Baseball player. That's my dream since I was young.
I'd love to be a perfect game All-American because I love playing against national competition. I love playing against the best kids, and that is exactly what that is.
For 20 years, Perfect Game National has been the stage for the talented, the dedicated, the committed, and the dreamers. More than 2,500 have taken on the challenge of the bright spotlight and soon thereafter had their name called in the MLB Draft.
With the first pick of the 2020 MLB Draft, the Detroit Tigers select Spencer Torkelson, a third baseman from Arizona State University.
Welcome to the next step in your development. Corbin drives one to deep right field. Looking up is Kale. Goodbye!
Hey guys, just want to tell you congratulations on making the Perfect Game All-American team. That's a big accomplishment. Being in that environment, playing with the wood bat, and just understanding that, hey, you got to continue to play hard every single day, and it got me really prepared for pro ball. Don't take it for granted. Enjoy it. Go out there, have fun, compete, try to hit the ball hard, and be yourself.
Playing in the PG, which was the Aflac game, then meeting a ton of players that I'm playing against now, these are the best moments of my life.
Only advice I always give is I was never big, so I was always like the smaller guy. I was tiny, man. So just try to go up there and just launch, and just to prove that I have it. But yeah, those are probably the best times playing.
You're also part of something far bigger than the game, considering others in need, less fortunate, and battling an uphill, unfair battle. Your support of the PG Cares Foundation and Rady Children's Hospital will impact many, including you. During these unique times, you are truly unique, and Perfect Game is proud to be a part of your journey.
It's a great opportunity for you all. You're here because somebody likes what you do. Do everything you can to put yourself in position for somebody to continue to like what you're doing. Get busy going after it, and have fun doing it.
All right, David, let's go to the West. McGuire is certainly a familiar baseball name. I always try and let the athlete themselves, I did it with Melendez, shine on their own. So we know the name McGuire, but in this case, for this show, it's Max McGuire, a young man out of Capo Valley High School in Southern California. Talk to me about the evolution of this young man's power.
Well, Max has really gotten stronger over the last year. You know, there's a lot of resemblances with his dad, and the first one, of course, is power. We're really seeing that power that we've seen in batting practice translate to bat speed and power in the games. He's a patient hitter who's searching out the fastball that he can drive. He's got a mature approach. I like Max so much as an athlete, though. He's going to be a high-level defensive first baseman, but I see no reason why he couldn't be a high-level third baseman or right fielder in the future with his speed, his arm strength, and overall athleticism.
Brett Kay's the head coach at J. Sarah in Southern California. Cody Schreier is a part of that team. This is a young man that is a UCLA commit on the infield.
Well, Cody Schreier has been a household name in the Southern California baseball community for a long time. When you play shortstop at J. Sarah, that kind of goes with the territory. He's really, even with that, how well he was known before, had a coming out party this summer. The tools he showed at National were very high level, and his bat, I think, has really improved. He's having a great summer down in Georgia, really showing his power potential and his defensive abilities to the max.
Alex Mooney, Rochester Hills, Michigan. His dad, Joe, played baseball at Michigan. This is a Duke commit, which means he's a heck of a student.
A heck of a student and a heck of an athlete. Alex Mooney's the type of athlete who you could put anywhere on the field, I think, and he would be great. He's playing a very high-level shortstop right now down in Georgia at the 17U, but there's so much offensive promise there. He's 6'1", about 185, and there's strength and twitch in his swing, and he's got a chance to be an offensive-oriented shortstop at the next level.
Isaac Pacheco is a great athlete, Texas A&M commit, who's a varsity basketball player as well. He's out of Friendswood, Texas.
Well, Pacheco has made his name for years, perfect game with his left-handed power. I mean, it's as big a power as anybody in the class, and he gets to it frequently. But what really impressed me at National was what a good athlete he was. He played shortstop at 6'4", 220, was smooth and loose and fluid in all his actions. Yes, he'll probably play third base down the road, but he's going to be an outstanding defensive third baseman.
Jordan Lawler, Dallas Tigers, Vanderbilt commit. His GPA above a 4.0. His cumulative grade total, a 98% all classes combined. This is a talented man in the classroom, a select festival guy too.
And he pretty much aces the tools and performance test in baseball too. A 6'4" runner, the highest ranked middle infielder in the country. Let me tell you about his first 3 games at the 17U. First game, he steals 3 bases, shows off that speed. Second game, hits 2 home runs. Third game, hits 2 doubles. That's just 3 days down against some of the best teams in the country. He's an all-around talent and very deserving of that middle infield ranking.
Luke Hefner. Well, you talked about acing things. Luke Hefner aced the national showcase. This talented young man who plays for Thrive Baseball is a Dallas Baptist commit where his dad, Dan, is the head coach. But he literally did everything you're supposed to do at national.
This is a left-handed hitter who obviously, as befits the son of a high-level college coach, has spent a lot of time hitting, and it was so obvious. He's 5'11", 165 pounds. There's still some growing to do, but the barrel accuracy, the barrel to ball skills were superb. He squared every ball up, and he has some pop even at that size. And he's a solid middle infielder. I think he ends up probably at second base in the future, but has a very, very bright, especially offensive ceiling.
And Khalil Watson has a very high ceiling as well. He's out of Wake Forest, North Carolina. This is an NC State commit. This is the number 4 overall player in the great state of North Carolina, and I think what excites everyone, first of all, Wake Forest High School, they love him there, but this is a left-handed hitting infielder. We know you love him, David. Everybody loves those talented, athletic middle infielders that roll with that left side of the batter's box, speed out of the batter's box. Most recently, he had a 500 on base at the 17U WWBA. The son of Charles and Latanya, here's a scouting report. Hit tool strong, great strength in his hands, and the left side of the infield, he will stay there long term. Out of Chula Vista, California, he plays for the San Diego Show, and he's a USC commit, Marcelo Mayer. This young man, we haven't seen him a ton, David, but when we have, it's been special.
He's 6'3", 185 pounds, but very, very athletic at shortstop. Really, I've seen him make some just plays that not only required talent, physical talent, but imagination. He has that flair about him. But I think what's going to be special about Marcelo is his left-handed bat. He has very explosive hands, and as he gets stronger, you can really see him developing some power down the road.
Well, David, good assessment. Excited to get to watch him play on a big stage, and Marcelo joins us now from just outside of San Diego, California. You know of the game, Marcelo. It's not in your backyard this year, but you know about it. You've watched it. What does it mean to you to be a perfect game All-American?
You know, it's a blessing, like I said. Just watching the game from your house at TV, you know, me being able to go to the games, it's truly a blessing, you know. Wanting to be in that game since you're little, just it's a true blessing and an honor to be a PG All-American.
And Marcelo, we haven't been able to see you play this year. You've been staying in California, which I understand the reasons for. But one thing I did notice when I looked at your short season high school statistics, you played 6 games and you had 3 bombs and 2 doubles in 6 games. Is that power something that you've been developing more in your game since we saw you last summer?
Yeah, for sure. I've been working a lot in the gym, getting stronger, you know, just working on all around my game. And, you know, it showed out on the field my junior year in the 6 games we had.
Yeah, what have you been doing since the spring season shut down while a lot of the players in the country are in Georgia and Alabama and Florida? What have you been doing? Who have you been playing for? What's the baseball situation like now in Southern California?
Yeah, unfortunately out here in the West Coast, everything's getting canceled. All the tournaments are on the East Coast, but, you know, it's kind of an advantage towards me because I've been getting a lot of extra work, you know, still being able to work out, going to practices. I'm pretty much practicing and working out every day, you know, facing minor league arms at my practices, individual workouts, stuff like that.
All right, so that beautiful left-handed swing, let's put it under my watchful eye and yours, Marcelo. What are some of the keys from your spikes all the way to your helmet, whether it be with your load, whether it be with your hands or hips? To me, help me understand some of the keys to your swing.
Keys to in the batter's box, to me, everything's just timing. You know, staying through the zone, getting the pitcher's timing down, inside out swing, you know, reacting to the pitch inside.
Do you have a favorite way that you practice hitting, a favorite way to prep, whether it be T, whether it be short BP? If you told me, hey, Sut, you can't take this way to prepare away from me, what would it be?
To me, the best form of hitting is live batting practice. You know, anything that gets me closest to getting ready to the game, and that's what it is to me.
Marcelo, congratulations on being a PG All-American. Can't wait to watch you play. This is fun, man. Congrats.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
David, you said it national. This is one of the most talented catchers you've seen in this generation of athletes, and his name is Ian Mahler. He's out of Dubuque, Iowa, plays for Team Elite and also that MLB Breakthrough Series team.
Well, one of the things I look at in a young catcher, I mean, elite young catchers, is would they be the same type of prospect as a third baseman or a right fielder at another position? And there's no question that Ian Mahler would at other positions. He has an outstanding athleticism. He's got a very strong right-handed bat that really plays up in games, if anything. And he's such a polished catcher. And 2 generations ago, it was Joe Mauer for me. You know, last generation, it was Bryce Harper back when he caught. This generation might be Ian Mahler's the best catcher in this decade.
Carter Jensen came to his first showcase when he went to National. This young man, Arroyo scout team, is out of Kansas City, another amazing catcher.
Yeah, really the number 2 ranked catcher in the country behind Ian Mahler. And just an all-around player, very athletic, a 6'9" runner, a left-handed hitter. And Daron, you know how much I love left-handed hitting catchers. And he really is so balanced in his field. He can control the game on defense as a catcher needs to. And he can really hit from the left side. It's just so well-rounded, and he plays the game right. He plays it under control and slows it down.
Joe Mack, you're a perfect game All-American. You were a Select Festival team member as well, the catcher out of Williamsville, New York.
New York player on the West Coast team. I know that doesn't make sense, but that's the way the catchers shook out. Joe Mack has been an impact hitter at perfect game events since the festival days. A left-handed hitter, another left-handed hitting catcher. So we know he can hit, but the most impressive thing that's developed over the last year or two is how much he has improved athletically as a defensive catcher. And that was what I really took away from the national showcase on Joe Mack, was how much he has improved behind the plate defensively.
On to the outfield, a couple of Arkansas commits. First up, Braylon Bishop, a left-handed hitter. He's got a couple of PG MVP trophies on his shelf.
Yeah, this is a performer who is quick twitch. I mean, he's one of the definitions of quick twitch in this 2021 class. 6'5" speed that it plays up in game, very quick wrists at the plate. And he's a career over 400 hitter at PG events. And you just see it in the performances, the MVPs, how he's playing this summer. A high performance player with tools who's just going to keep improving.
Also, Arkansas, Drew Gray, St. Louis Pirates, his team, an incredible student as well.
Yeah, Drew Gray is what I call a 50-50 player. There's a 50% chance he ends up on the mound. There's a 50% chance he ends up in the outfield. I think we are going to see him on the mound during the Classic just by the way the rosters are constructed. I lean a bit right now, the pitching. He's 92 with a very good breaking ball and so projectable. But he showed his power and his speed and his right field ability at National, and he has such a high ceiling. It's almost like we're watching a younger player right now. He has so much physical development to do.
Oregon State awaits the arrival of Malachi Knight. He's the son of Linda and Ryan, has played for Rio Showcase, who has helped develop him, and also that Canes national team. This is a young man out of Washington.
Just a great athlete who I think is just beginning to scratch his baseball potential. He's an elite level basketball player, averaged 26 points and 9 rebounds a game as a junior this past winter. So he's that level of an athlete, and you can see it in his actions in center field. It's a true center field package and plenty of right-handed bat speed. Just players going to keep growing more and more as a player as he gets more repetition.
Recently, I had a chance to spend about 15 minutes with Malachi Knight and got to know him on our Perfect Game radio show, MLB Round Trip with Perfect Game, heard every Sunday on SiriusXM's MLB Network Radio. And he focused clearly on how he had developed when he was shut down, when everybody had to stay home. He made sure he got better.
Well, like back then when coronavirus first hit and then school shut down and then baseball got canceled, it was very different. And at first, I guess it was hard to like react to it and get used to it. But over time, it got pretty good. But yeah, as a student, it changed a lot because everything was online and like the whole schedule was different. And then like as an athlete, you had to like self-motivate yourself. You had to like work out by yourself and do things on your own instead of being pushed by a coach or other teammates like you usually do. But yeah, it was different. It was hard to get used to at first, but I think that a lot of players from like around the country learned a lot about themselves from it. So it was bad and good on some notes, I think.
So what did you learn about yourself? If you're to tell me that you self-reflected on some things and you reacted, you just told me how you reacted. Malachi, what did you learn about yourself?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway that I got from it was self-motivation, because before that, I wasn't the biggest guy to like do things on my own. But then when this time came, I realized that if I wanted to get better and keep up with the competition or separate myself from the other competition, I would have to start working out on my own and do things by myself in order to get better. So I think like the biggest takeaway was I got self-motivation from it.
Back to the outfield, Camden Hayslip, a young man who's an Alabama commit. This is a great athlete, by the way. He could probably play football at some schools if he chose to focus on both, but this man's going to play baseball at Alabama.
I have no doubt looking at him physically that he could. 6'3", 205, and he has a physical presence, especially in the left-handed batter's box. This is one of the top projection left-handed power hitters in the class. He's also an athlete. 6'6" in the 60. He carries himself athletically, so it's just not a power package. It's a real power speed package.
Dalen Lyle, part of the 14U Select Festival a couple of years back. He's from Louisville. He's committed to Louisville.
Dalen's one of the top hitters in the class. And I know I get in show my age on comps occasionally, but you remember Cal Daniels, the old Cincinnati Red outfielder. That's who I kind of liken Dalen Lyle to. He has that ability to go foul pole to foul pole with the same carry in all directions. He had a double over the left fielder's head at National that was just an easy, natural stroke, but showed his foul pole to foul pole power, and one of my favorite hitters in the class to watch swing.
I love watching Tyree Reed play. I've seen him at different events. I've seen him at PG events and MLB Breakthrough Series events. Love watching this young man play. He was all tournament at the PG underclass last year playing for that Breakthrough Series team. This is a gifted player who's headed to Oregon State.
Well, Daron, you've seen him play more than I have because just by saying that. But a very talented athlete, center field speed, center field arm strength, a left-handed hitter. He sort of reminds me of a left-handed hitting Dexter Fowler at the same age, who was so projectable and had so many things going for him, just needed to get stronger and continue to grow. But an elite level athlete in the outfield.
And he is rolling, by the way. We've rolled through these players. He is rolling. Tyree Reed joins us. Tyree, congratulations on being a PG All-American. When you found out you were named to the team, that's a good smile, by the way. When you found out you were named to the team, explain to me what it means to you to be part of this team.
It was definitely exciting. I was outside when my mom had told me, and honestly, it was just something I just felt accomplished. You know, it was a goal that I set for myself last year because I had a couple teammates that went to the event, and you know, I'm a goal-oriented person. I try to set goals every year and strive for those, and this was one of my biggest goals of the year. And to finally accomplish it, it was breathtaking. I was really excited. I was happy for myself, and you know, I know I worked hard for it, and you know, I was happy that I got the opportunity, and I'm able to, you know, be an All-American.
And Tyree, Dave Rawnsley here. I have never seen you play before. You're the only All-American that I have not seen play. Tell me about yourself as a player. Tell me whose game in the major leagues you emulate, but tell me about Tyree Reed first.
Honestly, just, you know, I think me personally, I try to just be me. I don't really try to mimic my game after anybody else. I would say that, you know, the thing that stands out about me the most is I'm a hard worker, and I like to have fun every time I step on the field. You'll always see me with a smile on my face, and I enjoy playing the game. So I'm always positive. I work hard. I pick up my teammates, and I think every time I step on the field, you're always going to get the best out of me. You know, I don't know the perfect scouting report I'd give myself, but I'd say I'm a hard worker and I play hard, and you know, that's what people enjoy most about me.
Hey, Tyree, you and I have run into one another and spent time with one another at Breakthrough Series events. Please explain to me what it means to you to be part of that Breakthrough Series put out by MLB.
Honestly, the Breakthrough Series is probably one of my favorite events. I just believe that the cause is a lot bigger than just baseball itself. And especially how things are going on in America right now with, you know, the Black Lives Matter movements and stuff like that. I think it's really important for us to, you know, take a stand and stand for something for baseball and just outside of baseball. So I definitely think it's an important event. It's one of my favorite events, and I look forward to doing it as much as I can.
Incredible stuff. Tony Regans, Del Matthews, all the leaders do a great job. When we have a better connection, we're going to have a deeper conversation about what you just brought up. So thank you for taking us down that road as you go down the road. Congrats on being a PG All-American, man. Look forward to seeing you in person. Thank you, Tyree. Let's return to the Perfect Game All-American Classic roster reveal. David, let's talk about the pitchers and let's dive into the West. You know I'm proud of my Arizona pitchers. That's my home state currently. And Brock Selvage is from Hamilton High School, one of the largest high schools in the country. And this is a young man who has stood out there since his freshman year.
Yeah, he's always been a great performance pitcher, but what happened to Brock between last summer and this summer has been outstanding. When I saw him last summer, it was a upper 80s, lots of strikes, good slider. He made a couple mechanical adjustments, and now it's 90 to 94 with the same kind of precision command, more power to the slider. So a young Arizonian who's really stepped forward over the last year.
Yeah, homered in the state title game as a sophomore. You want the upperclassmen to like you? That's what you do. Ryan Ginther is out of Tennessee. He's a Vandy commit. Doolin Dodgers, Ryan's travel team.
Well, Ryan Ginther really made his mark at the National Showcase. 5'11", 200-pound, strong-bodied lefty, and he just came in firing 94, 94, 94 with a big breaking slider, and the hitters had no chance. He's got deception in his delivery, and to the hitters, it looked like he was throwing 98. and he's a high energy guy on the mound. He wants the ball, steps right on the rubber, and comes right at you. And it was fun to watch for 2 innings.
Polish is the word when we talk about Christian Little. He has been a famous, as his mates say, prospect for a long time. This is a Vanderbilt commit out of St. Louis.
Well, he pitched in the 14U Festival as a 13-year-old and as a 14-year-old. We've just seen him steadily improve. And by the way, he's still one of the youngest players in this class. So there's still so much growth to do. But it's polished. It's a 4-pitch mix. You know, it's smooth. It's for strikes. And he just needs to keep improving incrementally, you know, for the next few years. And the ceiling is so high for Christian Little.
Burns, Chase Burns, that is, and the fastball's explosive. It does burn. This is one of the top pitchers in the country. He's pushing triple digits at some point.
Well, to be quite honest, we thought he might had a chance to hit 100 at the National Showcase, and Chase Petty beat him to 100 on the Perfect Game record books. But Chase Burns was up to 99, and it was 95-99. There was no peak early. But the thing that stands out about Burns is that he's really a 4-pitch pitcher. Everything is firm and strong. There's enough strikes right now. But when you can throw that hard, there's a margin for error you don't have in other velocities.
Jackson Jobe, the son of a professional golfer. Jackson carving his own way with regard to sports. Heck, up to 96 at National.
Well, the thing is that he came to National as a very accomplished shortstop. When he left Hoover, it was as a right-handed pitcher and a future All-American because he was so impressive on the mound. He was up to 96, like you said, but there was also a 3,100 RPM slider in the mix there, which is elite big league spin rate on his slider. And you know he's a great athlete, and with that kind of arm strength, you know, he's a pitcher going down the line, I think.
Max DeBeck, tall. I mean, there's a lot of height and leverage there. The son of Lisa and Stan, a Washington native. Kane's national team, the Walla Walla Sweets, his other travel team.
Yeah, sometimes when you see a 6'7" athlete, you think, maybe he's fudging a bit. I think Max DeBeck actually might be taller than that. And he uses the height so well on the mound. He works straight downhill at times. Fastball topped out at 97 in Hoover, topped out at 96, I believe, yesterday in Georgia. Shows a plus slider at times. And he's so athletic. He's a high-level basketball player. He's a position prospect as well. And that athleticism, even at 6'7", really comes into the play on the mound.
And by the way, before we move to James Peyton Smith, we honor Max's grandfather. He plays to honor his grandfather, who he lost to the COVID virus. And he certainly has shared with us that he plays to honor him. James Peyton Smith, Team Elite, a Vanderbilt commit. This young man's out of Springfield, Tennessee.
James Peyton Smith is sort of like a different version of Chase Burns, dialed down about 3 miles an hour. It's a physical package, 6'4", 215. The fastball's 92, 96. Smith's best pitch might be a slider. It's a true mid-80s biting late slider. He has a changeup. It's a starter's package. But the 2 Tennessee right-handers, you know, are just part and parcel, 2 outstanding young pitchers.
The son of a professional tennis player is a young man by the name of Eric Hammond. He's out of Keller, Texas. Academy Select Ingram, his travel team. USC commit.
Yeah, I saw Eric Hammond pitch 2 years ago at a Dallas showcase, and he was listed at 6'2", 140 pounds, and he tried to play every position on the field. He was 80-82 on the mound. So when I saw him in Hoover up to 95 with a hammer curveball, I was like, wait a minute, I've seen this kid before. He's 6'4", 185 now. It's a lightning fast arm, and he has just matured so much over the last 2 years in every way on the mound.
Greg Thomas, along with the hosting of Jackson Jobe, will be very important because Thomas, with the game in Oklahoma City, is from Oklahoma City. His dad, Sean, has been very involved in helping raise funds for the cause for PG Cares. You tell us about the kind of baseball player he is, David.
I don't want to be a right-handed hitter facing him in Oklahoma City on the 4th because he has to be one of the toughest plate appearances in the country for any right-handed hitter. He comes from a low 3/4 arm slot. It's up to 95, so it's very firm, and he has outstanding control of his fastball and has good life on it. I can see him developing into a Joe Smith type player. They might get his arm slot even a little lower at the next level and being thrown mid-90s from close to a sidearm slot. That's death on right-handed hitters.
Final man on the roster, but very, very talented. He's representing Colorado. This is an LSU commit. His name, Kale Landsville.
Kale is so polished on the mound. He's a true 3-4 pitch pitcher. He's a strike thrower. His curveball is one of the best curveballs in the country with power. He throws a slider, cutter type pitch. He throws a changeup. It's a strike throw. 6-foot right-hander with a very strong body. Doesn't fit all the profiles, but if you wanted to win one game right now, Kale Landsville would be one of the pitchers he'd want on the mound for you today in this class.
And that wraps up both rosters for the Perfect Game All-American Classic, but not before we hear from the final man of the final mention. It's exciting to bring in, representing Colorado, Kale Landsville. Kale, thanks for spending time with us. We really appreciate it. Same question I ask all of your teammates as PG All-American. What do you know about the game and its history, and what does it mean to you to be part of the game this year?
Well, I'm just so fortunate and blessed to be able to represent Colorado in the All-American game. And I know I've been able to watch the All-American game every year, and just the experience, the atmosphere, you can't really beat it.
Yeah, Kale, I was looking through your scouting notes at Perfect Game events over the year and noticed that you played in a few events when you were like 13 and 14 years old. And you were, I think, like 5'4", 120 pounds and threw in the mid-60s. Tell me about the progression now to the big, strong right-hander who throws in the low to mid-90s.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a big development piece. I've been fortunate enough to know a couple guys that have been able to help me, such as Push Performance and the trainers over there, DJ Edwards, who's kind of took me under his wing and really developed me into the pitcher that I am. My pitching coach, and then some of my yoga instructors, and just it's a team effort, to say the least.
All right, I want to ask you about a particular pitch, and you have a baseball there with you, right?
I do.
I want to ask you about your curveball because you have one of the best curveballs in the country. It has power up to 84 miles an hour, a true curveball. It has depth. It is truly one of the best curveballs in the country. And first of all, throwing a curveball when you're a mile high is kind of tough. But if you could show us a little bit about how you throw the curveball and what's going through your mind, your mechanics when you throw it, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, so the curveball is something I just kind of picked up because I've always thrown fastball, slider, changeup, and so I just kind of picked up on my curveball. So I hold my curveball. So if this is the horseshoe of the baseball, I hold it right here over the top of the horseshoe, and then my thumb is on top of this lace. And the thing I try and think of when I throw it is I try and go fastball, 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 thumb right here at the end. And I just try and throw it exactly like my fastball until the very end when I flip my thumb.
We call that tunneling in the scouting industry. You're tunneling your breaking ball with your fastball. Great job.
Outstanding stuff. I had other places I wanted to go, but the old pitcher in me wants to stay on this subject to wrap the interview. Kind of bring to life your other pitches, the variety of fastballs you throw, because you made it clear when you filled out my scouting report for me that I can throw 4 pitches for strikes. I'm able to do that. So take the other pitches and show the grips quickly and bring them to life for me before we say goodbye to you.
Yeah, so I like to throw my fastball. I throw a traditional 4-seam. I really like to work off my fastball, command it to both sides of the plate, up, down. Then I go to my changeup. I don't throw a circle changeup, so I hold it like this. And I like to throw this to lefties, but I also can throw it in to a righty. And then I go to my slider right here. I have a lot of confidence in this pitch to throw both down in the count, up in the count, put away batters, and then my curveball is right here.
Outstanding. Kale, you gave us a pitching lesson. We appreciate it, partner.
Of course, I'm glad.
All right, the 3 of us are all going to say goodbye. Don't forget, it's the 4th day of September. It's the Perfect Game All-American Classic from Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark in Oklahoma City. Kale, you're a PG All-American. We'll see you then. David, you'll be there scouting. You'll be my analyst on the broadcast. Folks, that's the roster. Enjoy the game. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye, everyone. See ya. Bye-bye, everyone. Peace.